Hi guys, I'm going to go over how to do lesson 23. So it says here, just a model of how to do this lesson. On the number line, use a colored pencil to divide each whole into thirds and label each fraction on the line above. So on the above, I'm going to do thirds. So I'm going to write thirds here to help myself. And well, you see, this is 0 to 1. Okay, so you have to think about how many lines will I need to make it into thirds. So I'm going to need 1, 2, so it's 1, 2, 3 parts there. Okay, so I'm going to need 2 lines here, 2 lines here, that's it, because it'll end at 3. So if I'm beginning to label my fractions, I know that this will be 0 thirds. I know this whole right here will be 3 thirds for sure. So let's see if we're on the right track. 0 thirds, 1 third, 2 thirds, 3 thirds, 4 thirds, 5 thirds. This is a whole 6 thirds. So I can do I know that 2 times 3 is 6. So that helps me find my 6 thirds. 7 thirds, 8 thirds, and of course 9 thirds. And what helps me is to do 3 times 3 for thirds, and that would be 9, okay? So the second part here says, on the number line above, use a different color, I'm just gonna use black, and divide the sections into 6, okay? Well, that's gonna be hard, right? But I know that I have thirds, and 3 times 2 is 6, so if I divide each of my thirds, what will I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to put a line between each of my thirds. And then as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, into each section, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Into each section here, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, always double check. And I'm going to do 6 here, and I'm going to label on the bottom, and that one's pretty much there. It says 0, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, great check here. One whole number will be 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6, 11, 6 whole number here. So that's going to be 12 over 6, which also helps me because 2 times 6 is 12. 12 over 6, it helps, a little hint that helps me. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 over 6. What helps me is 3 times 6 is 18, okay? And it says, write the fractions that name the same place on the number line, okay? So there are some fractions that hit in the same spot. That hits the same spot. That one does. Whole numbers always will. Okay, that hits the same spot. This one hits the same spot. This one, same spot, and same spot. All the ones that hit the same spots are equivalent fractions, okay? So I'm not gonna write all of them down, but if I was going to, I would say 1 third is equal to 6. Another example would be 2 thirds is equal to 4, 6. And 3 over 3 is equal to 6 over 6. And I could just keep doing that all throughout the line, okay? Another question I'm going to look at is just an example of what you are expected to do here, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to write 2 different fractions. It's on the other page, I don't know why. You're going to write 2 different fraction names for the dot on the number line, okay? You may use halves, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, eighths, or tenths. So in this case, what you are going to do is, let's look at thirds in the beginning, because if we have here, we have 1, 2, 3 spots. So if I was doing thirds here, my 0 would be, I'll put thirds here, it always helps me to write it, is 0, 1/3, 2/3, and, 3/3, which is the same as 1 whole. Well, if I was going to do another one, I would probably just break up my thirds, okay? And how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I would do 6 here. This would of course be, okay, 2, 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 6, 6 would be my total. So I want to find where the dot is, and those are equivalent fractions. So I would just put 4, 6 is equal to 2/3. All right, so that's how you find equivalent fractions. Some tips that help me is I always write my fraction on the side. Another thing that helps me is that I always check my whole numbers to make sure that my top and bottom, that it matches up. If it doesn't match up, I might go back and see if I maybe missed a fraction.